Initiating moisture.
Welcome to the Moist Meter. Today we're taking a look at the Uncharted movie. I feel like this movie's been in production hell for the last 20 years. Like, this movie has existed longer than the games have. I just feel like for the last decade or so, at the very least, I keep hearing like the Uncharted movie's finally right around the corner. And now it's actually out. And it's not bad. I don't think the movie is terrible. It's not dog shit, but it's not an amazing movie either. It's a very entertaining movie. And I think that's all it wanted to be. Now, if you've played any of the Uncharted games, if you're a fan of the Uncharted games, you should pretty much know what to expect here. However, it's not nearly as good in the movie as it is in the games. It uses some similar moments from the games, it takes inspiration from them. For example, the whole plane scene, which is probably the highlight of the film really, is still better in the game than it is in the movie because you get to play the game. You're involved in it, instead of just watching it unfold. So there's definitely more merit there. And the games are significantly longer than a 2-hour runtime, so you get more time to care about the characters. You get a bigger journey, a wider adventure. So everything Uncharted, the movie, wanted to do, the games just do better. So if you just really have that itch for some Nathan Drake in your ass, just you'd play the games instead of watch the movie, I imagine. But I do think it is entertaining, and especially for people that haven't played the games or just don't have that gamer gene in their body. Maybe they're just not born turbo elite gamers like us. This would probably be a movie that they'd really appreciate. Tom Holland, I think, does a fine job as Nathan Drake. I don't think he's the perfect Nathan Drake or anything. I don't think he's the greatest fit, but I do like him as an actor, as most people do. Mark Wahlberg as Sully is a bit goofy. That kind of goes a little Insano style for some reason. I don't understand why they cast him, but I didn't hate it. I still enjoyed the chemistry between him and Tom Holland. It wasn't bad. They were fun to watch. Overall, the movie just boils down to, if you start thinking about it, you've already fucked up. The majority of things that happen in this movie are super implausible and silly, and I don't think they care. Because they just wanted it to be something that you just fucking shove some popcorn in your mouth and be like, whoa, a ship is now being pulled by a helicopter and now they're colliding ships in the air. Fuck yeah. And they succeed on that front because it is fun. There's not a whole lot of depth to it. By the end of the movie, the characters are pretty much exactly the same as they started the movie, except for a couple of developmental moments and some character relationships. But overall, it's not a movie that's trying to do anything new. It's basically like National Treasure, Indiana Jones, all of your adventure movies just kind of thrown into one. A nice witch's cauldron with that little sprinkle of gamer juice in there, and you get the Uncharted movie. It's nothing you haven't seen before. It doesn't reinvent the condom. It's just an enjoyably goofy movie, and I can appreciate that. I don't have a whole lot to say about it. I'm not going to bother nitpicking it because there's no reason to. It's just a pretty simple movie, honestly. It's just like some spaghetti and meatballs. Tastes good. It's not the most creative or innovative thing ever, but god damn it, it does taste good. I will say, though, there is a lot of heavily reliant on CGI moments that really stand out in the movie sometimes. Just something that I noticed, especially more towards the end. I also don't think the villain was very interesting at all. Antonio Banderas I like as an actor, but I just didn't find his character or any of the other supporting villains all that interesting because they're all pretty much the same. We don't trust anyone, so everyone's getting backstabbed. Better sleep with a cork in your butt because we're going to come through and fuck it because we don't trust you and you shouldn't trust us. Every character is just kind of the same. No one trusts anyone, so they're constantly backstabbing everyone. It's, you know, by the end of the movie, you're like, oh, okay, just another backstab, I guess. And it's just not super interesting when it comes to the bad guys. There's also one villain that keeps coming up in the film, and he's a Scottish guy. He's like the least scary villain of all time. He's supposed to be this muscle man that's just a fucking monster, an ass-beating machine. But he's just so likable. It's just like someone brought their dad on set, and the director was like, do you want to play a henchman? He's like, yeah, sure, fuck it, yeah, I'll come on. So he did, and every time he's on screen, I just kind of smiled. Like, he beats Tom Holland up a few times, and he's supposed to be like this menacing presence, but you just can't help but like him. He's like a big fucking teddy bear, and I don't think you're supposed to feel that way about, like, the big bad muscle guy. So It's just another thing I just felt like pointing out. Again, there's nothing in the film that's great or outstanding, but it does everything well enough. It executes on what it wants to execute on well enough to make it an enjoyable film. So I'm going to plug this bad boy in the moist meter and give it a cool 60%. I think it's a fun movie, especially if you just like mindless, fun, adventure action movies. There's never really like a sense of danger, but there is a great sense of discovery and adventure, and I always appreciate that because I think it's a very fun genre. But it doesn't do anything super new in it. It's just happy to live there and be a fun homage to the games. Even though the games themselves play out like movies and very, very well done movies in the games, this one just kind of lives there as, well, if you want like a really condensed version, we have a 2 hour appetizer for Uncharted and does it well enough. That's about it. So yeah,